What up, brawlers? Welcome back to Throwing Hands. It's Jakob Janoski, per usual. Danny Woods has an appointment right now, so he cannot be with us. But I do have a special guest on today, Tim Caron. Tim, how you doing?
Good, Jacob. How you doing?
I'm doing quite good. Thanks for asking. So we're just gonna get right into the nitty gritty of things. How'd you start in martial arts?
Um, it was a just kind of get in shape kind of thing. That's really what I wanted to do and learn some cool moves, watching it on TV and everything. But I found out I was pretty good at it, so I followed through and started beating people up.
So when did you realize that you could kind of make this your profession?
Um, That's a good question. It was probably a couple years in. I knew I was good. I did some tournaments, like jiu-jitsu tournaments and things like that. And then I wanted to start getting into that kickboxing realm. So putting it all together was MMA, and that's where that came from.
Yeah, so you get into your first pro fight. What were your thoughts going into that?
I was pumped. I was excited. Uh, it's a different feeling than anything else. So it's just you train so hard for it. It's you just don't. The audience is what makes it nerve wracking, I guess, because you literally train every single day and you spar. So it's really just getting those nerves. You don't want to let anybody down.
So speaking of audience, after 4 wins in a row, you head off to Bellator. Now you're in front of an even bigger crowd. What's it like going to a large promotion like that?
It's different. It's a whole another level of nerves, that's for sure. Because you obviously trying to make this a career. Um, you have your moments, and if you screw those moments up, you kind of got to start over and build yourself back up.
So you rack off 7 in a row, and then you get to your first loss. What do you attribute that loss to? Was it like a style difference, preparation? What was it?
Um, I think it was maybe style, but it was also a last minute. Um, and then it was against a very big person. So he was 185er technically, but he hadn't made weight in like 3 or 4 fights. And then after my fight, he went up to 205 just because he could never make weight. So we really fought at 195, and it was just a bad decision on my part to go that high because he was like a 230-pound person coming down.
Jeez.
Yeah, he was very big. So and then I just got caught. Um, and he was obviously bigger, stronger. He was tall, lanky. So it worked out well for him.
So what do you take from that loss back then that helps you still to this day?
One, making smarter decisions on who I'm fighting. Obviously, as fighters, well, like we want to fight everybody and anybody. So that's why we have management and coaches to tell us maybe not, or or yeah, this is probably a good fight. Uh, so that's one thing I've learned. That's for sure.
So then after your loss at Bellator 178, you rack up together 2 wins, and then you're off to the Contender Series a couple years ago. What was that experience like, working at the Apex and the Performance Institute before heading to the Octagon?
Yeah, that was freaking phenomenal. That whole building is amazing. They do a really good job. They take care of their fighters. They have a lot of rehab things there. They have the gym. So you see a lot of big name people there too. So it's a pretty sweet place. Good
So
experience.
yeah, so at that fight on the Contender Series, you lose, but it's since been overturned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. I just want your thoughts because he was caught with marijuana metabolites. Do you think it should be a banned substance, or what are your thoughts on that?
I I don't have many. I don't know what it does to the body or anything like that. So I can't really speak on that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it doesn't do too much unless you're absolutely stoned out of your mind. So I don't see any problem with it. And then you take so you after that you lose, and then after a year off, you get that win at Bellator 231. Um, why the year off?
I got injured. I was supposed to have a fight in April. I think it was April. Earlier this year, and the week before the fight, the Friday, which is kind of where we're at right now. So I'm going to be nice and easy. I'm not injured or anything, so I'm going into training nice and light today, just to make sure no injuries come. But I tore my meniscus in my knee the week before the fight, so that took some time to heal up and get back into training. Then COVID hit, so a lot of things just stopped us from really getting the right training in.
So what would you will you say that what did you learn about yourself through that meniscus rehab?
Um, well, I still have the drive. I just needed the time to heal up. I did it all right. My knee is stronger than ever, so I feel really good about it. Um, but I knew I wasn't done. So that's what I learned about myself, is just to heal up and grind it out.
So it's been about another year until you're coming on this next fight against UFC vet Kyle Stewart in an LFA competition. What are your expectations going in this one?
I expect to see a brand new Tim the Bear. I've been working nutrition very hard, along with my new workouts and stuff like that, training for marathons and Ironmans. So my conditioning, my mentality, everything has changed drastically. And then obviously my MMA training is still going very well. But I am pumped to be able to fight him because of his name, where he's been. He lost his two in the UFC, but he still made it. He was there. So a big win here could put me right on that path to having that door open for me. So that's what we're shooting for.
How do you think your nutrition, your better nutrition, will help you in this next fight?
Weight cutting and everything like that. People do it very wrong, and obviously we've seen it. People have to back out of fights because they cut weight wrong. They don't know how to do it correctly. I have since had a nutritionist, or still have a nutritionist, and then I became a nutritionist. So being able to actually manage my body in that sense, while like with the training and everything like that, my body's primed and ready.
So you mentioned before how the crowd has like an influence on you. With this LFA fight in Sioux Falls, there will be no crowd. How do you think that will affect you?
I don't think it will anymore. The Contender Series was kind of very similar to that. There was maybe 50 people out there, so now there's going to be less than that. But I think it's going to be more. It's just going to feel like an intense sparring match. There's just your coaches yelling at you, listening to his coaches yell at him, that type of thing. But I don't foresee it being a problem at all. I know
So
who's so.
yeah. So where do you see yourself going after this fight? Or do you not look at that because, that's the next thing that's next, and then that'll determine what happens next?
Yeah, really fight by fight basis. And I have a top level management. So you can only hope things go my way. The door opens to the big leagues, but I'll be ready for everything, anything or everything. So whatever's next. Well, I guess we'll have to see how this fight goes first.
Definitely. So you have a family back home. How do they influence you in your fight game? Like, do they bring you a certain motivation?
Absolutely. They all have my back. My wife is great. We just had a baby, so he's 6 weeks old today. So I have a lot to fight for, that's for sure. And a whole different kind of motivation.
Has that affected your training at all, or?
Nope. Like I said, my wife's great, so she knows I have to get in the gym. I have to do the time to be prepared. So she has no problem with that. So I do my thing, she does hers, and then we meet in the middle.
Hey, it sounds like a plan. So Ed Cap mentioned to me that you're a Disney fanatic. What do you think is the best Disney Pixar film?
Ooh, Disney Pixar, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It
Obviously,
is.
Toy Story, the original Toy Story is up there, but they have some really good new stuff. So I would have to say, I mean, Toy Story is always going to be my favorite, probably. So I'll stick with Toy Story.
Yeah, for me, it's Wally. I think I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's the best story to me.
you do that too often.
You don't hear that? Really? A lot of my friends and I like it a lot.
Really? I mean, I love Wally, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's great. Toy Story is awesome too, and I just recently watched Toy Story 4 for the first time.
yeah, good
That
movie.
I was
Really good. They keep
yeah
you entertained.
yeah I thought it was really good too. The graphics like blew me away. I'm like, this is like
All right.
crazy, like how detailed it was. Like with there's reflections in everything, and I was just like, oh, they think of everything in these movies.
Yeah, see, like, I don't know if you can see that, but that's how.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, my whole arm is the villains. And I got my hero coming after the fight.
Oh, that's sick.
Later
Yes.
on.
So you really do like Disney. He wasn't lying.
Disney fan, that's for sure.
All right. So that's a good place to wrap it up. Where can people find you on social media?
You can find me at tim.thebearcaron on Instagram or Tim Caron right on Facebook. It's hard to miss me.
All right, guys. You can catch Tim Caron next Friday, right?
Correct.
On LFA 91, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
All right, guys. That's been it for this episode of Throwin Hands. You can catch us on Twitter at Throwin Hands Pod, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, pretty much anywhere you can think of a podcast, and SoundCloud. Tim, I want to thank you for coming on, man.
I appreciate you having me.
All right, guys. Tim Caron, everybody.